Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First off, if you're wondering why there's so much eyeliner on my face, that video is coming soon that will make it all make sense. Maybe, if you end up relating the two. Anyway, point is, I tried to wipe some of it off, but I also didn't want to risk completely destroying my face. So, most of you guys probably don't even care because my glasses kind of cover a lot of that anyway. So, completely not the point of this video. As you can tell from the title, today I wanted to talk to you guys about Raynaud's phenomenon, Raynaud's disease. I don't like to use the word disease because I feel like it kind of I don't know, that word in my brain has kind of a gross connotation to it, and I don't want to feel gross. Whereas the word phenomenon makes it sound like it's kind of cool. It's not really cool, but I mean, it makes it sound more interesting, I guess. I never thought I would sit down and do a video about this, but I've mentioned before that I want to try and be more open with you guys and talk more about my personal things. Plus, maybe this can help educate people, make people understand something that they probably have never heard of, or maybe you have heard of it and you just don't quite get it. Maybe you know somebody that has this. I don't know. Like I said, maybe you've never heard of it and now you're gonna have your eyes open to realizing that there's more to life than what you know. Anyway, or maybe you have this and you just want to know that there's somebody else out there that understands you, and hi, I understand you. So, first off, I was I guess born with Raynaud's. I have what is known as primary Raynaud's, which means that there's no real cause for it. It just that's just how my body is. There's also a secondary form of Raynaud's that it gets brought on from just extreme exposure to the cold and things like that. It can be brought on from arthritis, from heart conditions, random things like that, other health disorders. It can be a part of autoimmune diseases and things like that. So that's a secondary form of it. And from what I've been told, at least, because I was tested for different autoimmune diseases and lupus and things like that, so mine is a primary version. So it's just always been there. So I was told that at the age of 13, I do believe, is when we finally found out. And my mom and I were kind of going to all these different doctor's appointments because my toes and my fingers and my legs and things, my legs would get really splotchy after really hot showers. They still do. And in the heat and things, they would just, I don't know, they would turn this really funky grayish blue color on the surface in spots. But the main thing was, I was laying in bed with my mom one night watching TV, and we were just hanging out because I was a 13-year-old hanging out with my mom. And we were chilling, and I think we were watching Golden Girls or something, and I showed her my feet because I kind of mentioned it to her before, but she had never noticed it, she hadn't seen it herself. So I was showing her where my toenails mainly turned this weird super white color, and then they would kind of get this bluish, almost black, and then they were just really, really cold, and they were changing colors. And she was just that's not normal. So that started us on this whole journey of figuring out what was going on. I had to go to doctors for my heart. I got tested for a whole bunch of different things. Had to go see different specialists and stuff like that. And then eventually we found out that I had Raynaud's. So there's my little bit of a story. So if you don't know what Raynaud's is, it is a condition resulting in the discoloration of your extremities, your fingers, your toes. It can affect your ears, your nose, things like that. Generally it's mainly your fingers and your toes though. And it's a response to extreme temperatures like the cold or the heat. Either way, it can affect both. Or to emotional type of situations, if you're really stressed, things like that. So, things that would kind of affect your body in general, emotionally, it can like show itself in that way. That probably didn't make any sense, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so the extreme versions of Raynaud's, when people like have really bad cases, their fingers can turn like, I'll try to pop up some pictures over here, but their fingers can turn like blue, white, kind of like a grayish color. In really bad situations, you can end up with frostbite, and if you don't get that treated, it can turn into gangrene. You can lose limbs. Those are like the extreme cases, and those are like generally rare. If you know you have Raynaud's, you know how to take precautions generally, and if you don't, we're going to get into that because you need to know how to take precautions. Because obviously the weather is a thing, and just the basic outdoor weather in the winter or in the summer can affect you. So, more so in the winter as far as the frostbite things go, obviously. Anyway, those are like extreme reactions to things. But one of the things you have to realize with a disorder, disease, whatever like this, is that everyone is different. So everyone's going to have different stories, different reactions, different extreme levels of whatever or non-extreme levels of whatever. So in my case, first off, because I've known that I've had this for 13 years now, I'm always really careful if I know I'm going to be somewhere cold. So I don't have extreme reactions too bad. I do have to work in a cooler sometimes at work, and I always put gloves on, and if I have to be in there long enough that I feel my fingers through my gloves starting to go numb, I always instantly leave the cooler to go warm up. So I've never let it get too bad because of that, because I'm terrified of like letting it get too bad. So for the most part, you don't really see my fingers turn white or blue or anything like that. But as they start to warm up, and this is very normal whenever you have the, you know, your body trying to fix itself, so to speak, for your fingers to get really red, they'll swell, they'll feel like tingly. It's very uncomfortable, and it makes you feel like you can't really like move your hands very easily. That's where I see most of mine come through, is as my hands warm up, they tend to just want to like be in. Like almost like an arthritis type of reaction. Like they don't want to straighten. They feel very swollen. They are hard to like, this is like how my hands like to sit a lot of times. So like I have to force them to actually like go fully straight. So yeah, I see a lot of mine, they'll turn really red, and that's where I get the most comments from people too, is people are just like, why are your fingers so red? Like that's not normal. I'm like, I know it's not normal. I know. Believe it or not, I know that's not normal, but it's what my hands do, and I just kind of give them love, I guess. And my toes don't quite react the same way. They don't get all red and feel warm and swollen and everything, but they do tend to feel cold a lot more often. My toes show more of the cold side, whereas they will look very pale and, I don't know, dead. I don't like to use that, but I mean, I guess that's a good way to go about it, is they look unhealthy. So it's interesting how like in my own body, like two different body parts can react so differently to the same disorder. But anyway, a lot of times, because people don't know what Raynaud's is and they don't understand it and it's not a common thing, they tend to think that I'm overreacting to being cold. You know, I hear a lot of, you know, oh, it's not that cold outside, or you can't be that cold, it's the summer, why are you wearing a jacket? It's not that cold in the freezer and the cooler and whatever. You know, people think that I overreact to the cold, or they don't understand why I wear jackets in June, or, you know, they refuse to believe that it's possible for someone to be cold to the levels that I can be sometimes. And I just kind of laugh it off and like, it's like, okay, whatever, I'm not like you. But yeah, they tend to tell me a lot that like, you know, it can't be that bad, you'll be fine. And then you show them like pictures. Like recently, I've started showing people like, look, this is what I have and this is what can happen. I'll show them pictures on my phone, and then they overreact the other way. You know, can't believe you're in the cooler. You shouldn't be in there. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because I know my body and I know what I can handle and I know how to take care of myself. So, I'm an adult and I've been dealing with this my entire life. So, you know, it's just like, it's frustrating because, and it's a lot of part of why I haven't ever talked about it on here, part of why I don't generally tell people about what I have is I was always raised to not let something you have like that affect your entire life. Like my mom always was of the mindset that you don't let this control who you are. Like you work with it, yeah, because it's part of me, but you don't let your disease, so to speak, control your entire life, because it's not something that can be healed. It's not something that's going to get better. It's something that I had to learn how to live with, and I can't let it control what I do or who I am. I just have to learn how to work around it. Anyway, so yeah, it's not like a life-threatening thing in and of itself. If you have an autoimmune disease, the autoimmune disease may have a more severe toll on your life in general, but Raynaud's itself is not going to like kill you, you know? It's just something that you have to learn how to live with. So in saying that, what has helped me is, and it's been years of just learning how to function and dress properly, but like during the winter, or if I know I'm going to be working in a cold environment, I wear thick socks or double up my socks, or both. I wear really thick gloves. Sometimes if I'm working in a cooler, I will take like 4 pairs of gloves with me so that I can have like the really thick gloves if I'm going to be in a cooler or a freezer for a long period of time. I take thinner gloves if I'm going to be working with cold things that I have to touch. And I'll take multiple pairs in case one gets wet, because if your gloves get wet and then they're cold, it's going to be 10 times colder than they were when they were dry. So you don't want to wear wet gloves, obviously. I wear hats. I wear leggings underneath my pants, like thick hats, like beanies and, you know, like winter hats. Even if it's July, I don't care. If I'm going to be cold, I wear a hat. And then on top of that, the Hot Hands brand makes full body warmers. So it's like, I think it's like this big. It's a patch that you, like the sticky side goes inside of your clothing, like on your shirt, on your pants, whatever. And then the other side goes against your body, and it's just meant to warm your body as a whole. And on days where it's really bad, I'll just wear one of those. And it does its job. But, I mean, like I said, everyone is different. What works for me may not work for you, may not work for your friend. Everyone has to learn how to function in their own way. But it's always worth a shot to have some sort of idea on things that'll help. Not that any of this is new. It's literally just dressing warm and being aware of what you need to function. You know, sometimes wearing like lightweight layers helps because you're not wearing bulky clothing, but it's like you have enough layers to be between you and whatever is cold that you can still move, but it's not going to affect your skin. Also, in my own personal experience with everything, I've noticed that when I do have to be exposed to the cold for extended periods of time, like multiple days in a row, either at work or in the winter, the longer I go having to face that, the more my joints tend to react. My wrists will start to hurt, my ankles, my knees, things like that. And so I have to go through and use like braces. I will brace my ankles, I'll brace my knees, whatever I have to do. Have I mentioned how much I love overheating cameras? Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's it. I guess. I can't really think of anything else to throw in here right now. If you have any questions or anything though, feel free to leave me a comment and I will do my best to get back to you. I'm sorry if this video was a little all over the place and rambly. I'm just not really used to like talking about it, I guess, and it makes me slightly uncomfortable. But hey, maybe I can help somebody else feel less alone or something. I don't know. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!